Welcome back, and thank you for joining us today as Nathan Washington, Solution Sales Executive with Ingram Micro Cloud, gives us a glimpse into creating equitable access for students in schools during this episode of our Public Sector Soundbite. Each soundbite dives into the services, resources, and program offerings Ingram Micro Cloud has created to become the destination for your distribution needs. So let's get started. Nathan, can you take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Jody. I appreciate that. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, and thanks for joining today's call. I'm Nathan Washington. I'm the Senior Business Development Manager for Ingram Micro Cloud's public sector, and I spend most of my time helping state, local government, education, and partners achieve their digital transformation journey. One thing today I'd like to do is kick off a small presentation that we have. I've carved out a little time to talk about a topic that's near and dear to me, equitable access for students in education. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my presentation. And so really, what is equitable access? And I just wanted to share a quick story. My better half, Kim, works in the public school system here in Arizona. She loves the work that she's doing, and she clearly has a positive impact on students and staff. And over the years, she has shared some stories with me about many challenges that they experience at school that's related to technology, and sometimes the not so good impact that it has on her students' abilities to learn. And hearing these stories has really motivated me to identify and implement reliable solutions that can improve outcomes, not just for students, but for schools and our communities. So put simply, the term equitable access refers to the notion of every student in every classroom in any public school in America having the same opportunity as any other student for being taught by a great teacher that's supported by a great principal. And students deserve fair access to reliable tools and really a high quality education. So if there's anything that you take away from today's conversation, please take away the next three things. One, let's work together to reduce barriers that limit students from having access to high quality education. Let's establish an inclusive learning environment and accelerate learning through technology. And the third, Ingram Micro Cloud and our partners are all invested in helping schools create a more equitable environment for students to learn. So let's look at an example of a school that has implemented technology to help them improve outcomes for students and providing an environment for equitable access. So Fife School District in the Pacific Northwest, the manager of information technology and support services, shared the school district's vision and how his team took a serious look into the integration of workspaces across the district. His goal was to implement a solution that gives students access to their work from any device at any time and from anywhere in the world. And another goal they had was to move away from labs to a desktop as a service solution. So the solution Fife Public School District implemented was AppStream 2.0 and Workspaces. A couple of examples of how this solution is positively impacting not just students, but some of the resources that are running the technology is students now have access to curriculum-based applications, and while at home or anywhere, they can leverage an existing Chromebook or an existing investment into equipment, but they can also share and display their work with their parents or those in their lives that are interested in their work, and gives them the ability to really show their progression through their curriculum and their school activities. So some of the challenges that the students were facing is they really just didn't have access to innovation due to device and or bandwidth constraints. And this solution offers low-cost, web-only computers that expand the breadth of distribution, closing that so-called homework gap and allows them to really work remotely, if you will. However, there's now also a gap between those with powerful, full-featured multimedia workstations at home and those with a district-issued Chromebook. So just something top of mind to be thinking about. The solution that was implemented gave each student a cloud instance to run applications as they need, no matter what device you're using or where they're physically located. And since the apps are running on the cloud, only 50 kilobytes of bandwidth is really needed for virtually any internet connected computer. So some of those situations at home where there's low bandwidth, this is a great solution to help bridge that gap. Now, some of the really unique things about this solution is it's password protected, right? So the experience that the student has is they log in with their password. It integrates with Active Directory and provides more of a safe computing instance. And then also some of the storage, Google Drive or OneDrive enables cloud storage and the ability to access that storage anytime, anywhere. Now, if you, there are several options to implement a solution like this, and a couple of those options are you can do it yourself on Amazon or AWS's AppStream 2.0. You can leverage a part of our ecosystem and our go-to partners to help you build out your own custom AWS environment. And there's also managed services and programs designed to help not just stand this up, but provide that care and feeding to the environment to help you, work on the high level aspects of your organization while that, nuanced type everyday work through the IT stuff is managed by a provider. So there are big discounts applied and associated with a program like this that can help you strategically implement a solution at really reduced costs. So, one thing I'd like to do today is introduce John Kroll. He's here with Tech Reformers. John, thanks for joining today's call. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's so nice to see you. And how are things going out there in the Pacific Northwest?
Oh, pretty good. We're looking forward to spring.
Well, that's great. Well, hopefully, things are going well in your life, and I appreciate you joining the call. A couple of things I wanted to get from your perspective on this solution is, can you tell me more about the differences between AppStream 2.0 and Workspaces, and really what's unique about each of them?
Sure. Uh, Workspaces is more of a traditional desktop as a service, whereas AppStream can be customized specifically to the user's needs. So one thing that we find really useful is just streaming the application without the desktop, and that's something that AppStream allows. Um, so it just gets rid of the complications of dealing with a whole desktop, especially if you're on a Chromebook and you want to launch Adobe Photoshop, which runs on Windows. You don't really need to, open up a remote desktop, navigate to Adobe, and then launch it. You can just click on an icon within your Chromebook for Photoshop, and it just launches.
Okay, and so from what I understand, AppStream 2.0 focuses on hosting those individual applications on AWS, and you can migrate or move those existing legacy applications over to AWS through AppStream 2.0. Is that correct?
Yeah, it can be those legacy desktop applications, but some of those are still some of those applications are they're modern applications, a 3D rendering application, movie creation applications like Adobe Premiere. Those are desktop applications, and that's where we talk about, the access to innovation. Students that are just using a Chromebook might only be able to use a web-based video editor or a lower level 3D rendering program. But by accessing AppStream, they can use the professional applications that are only available in Windows.
That's great. So it sounds like if they have a unique curriculum such as information technology or maybe arts and media, really there are no limitations to which application that they want to access through this solution. Is that correct?
Exactly. School districts can use any Windows or Linux application that they currently have licensing for. We've seen school districts be able to leverage their existing licenses. So if they, for instance, have labs where they're using Adobe Creative Cloud and students only have access there, now they can expand that to home access and reuse those licenses that they're currently only giving students access to in labs.
That's great. Well, a few points I'd like to make, just to summarize the AWS solution and how it creates equitable access in public schools. The issue labs require significant lift in resources and bandwidth intensive, and they can be extremely costly. The impact is students are not able to engage when they're at home if they are working through a lab, and they can't access their curriculums. So there's also some latency and slowness in those labs, but the result of implementing, AppStream 2.0 and or workspaces, there's a significant financial savings. It can leverage existing Chromebooks. It allows students to bridge that gap of technology and really work from anywhere on any device at any time. I know we're short on time. I do want to thank you very much for your time today, John, for joining us. I appreciate the time that you spent with me. And quickly, if there is any customer and or partner that is interested in leveraging a solution like this, what do they need to do? Should they just reach out to you, or what
Yeah,
do you recommend?
they could reach out to Tech Reformers. We can advise them on professional services for helping school districts implement AppStream. We're specialists in K-12 education, and we'd be happy to partner with them. And then we also provide a managed service that some school districts, right now the full AWS implementation is too much for them to handle, and the costs are, although they're cheap, they're unpredictable. We can offer per student flat rate pricing.
Great, so it makes it cost effective. Well, that's good. If you want to help accelerate learning and education, please engage Ingram Micro Cloud. We have such a wonderful partner base, all focused and dedicated to helping our state and local government and education. We appreciate your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day. And also, happy Earth Day tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time. Bye.